Well, good morning, everyone. A very warm welcome to the Forest Edge Kart Club. We're here for round number 2, and it's sure to be an exciting day of racing. Now, we're testing out this new stream here for 2024. May have a few teething issues, so if things go wrong, just let me off. I'm trying to run the live stream at the same time as doing the commentary, so doing my best. I'm doing my best, but we'll try and get you through all the action. Of course, lots of racing to come here today across the full day. Loads of heats, and then we go into the finals later on this afternoon. We've already had practice sessions out there on circuit, but the first session we're actually going to see in terms of racing action is going to be our Junior Max drivers. Now, a huge amount of entries into the juniors for today's event. If I just scroll all the way down to my Junior Max, 34 in total for this one. I think we had 22 at round 1, so a huge increase then from round number 1. But it does mean that they're the only class here today that get 4 heats. Now every driver's still going to be only in 3 heats, but because there's so many, we've had to split it between 4. And that then also means when we get into the finals later on today, that there's going to be an A final and a B final for the juniors as well. So the top 24 from the heats will automatically go into that A final, and then there'll be a final shootout in the B final. The top 4 from that B final will find their way up into the A final. But we don't need to worry about any of that just yet, because before all of that kicks off, we'll be going into the first round of heat. So again, to say, if you know someone who's supporting someone in the Junior Max and they're not in this heat, don't worry, you haven't got something wrong yourself. They'll simply be out in heat 2, 3 and 4. So no need to worry. But let's have a look then at the grid for this first heat of the day. Okay, thank you. A little update here. Usually it's a disembodied voice in my head when I'm working with Alpha Live, but I've got some lovely people joining me in the box today. I've been updated that the grids are wrong for juniors, so it's going to be a bit of a challenge to guide you through who's actually in this race. So a bit of a baptism of fire to start off this one. But I can tell you, if we look down the entry list as to the drivers involved, definitely some names that I recognise from other kart championships. Looking down the order, Jaden Sherwood, certainly a name that I recognise. I've seen Lucy Lovell posting about being at this event. See how she can do out there. She's on the number 17, is Lucy. Who else we got in here? Toby Street, that's a name I recognise, on the number 40. Jonas Janaszewskis, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Rye House. I know Jonas from, on the number 56. Dalton Hayward as well on the 69. Teddy Cooper as well on the 79, recognise that name. Kanish Grau, that's a name that I definitely know. Kanish Grau, 1000% I know Kanish. He's on the 85 for today. I know him from the Wilton Mill Kart Club, potentially as well. Kanish having done some British Kart Championships rounds as well, so definitely a name that I would be expecting to be up near the sharp end in this one then. So as you can see on the live timing on the left hand of your screen, the practice all done and dusted. Now I'm hoping as the drivers leave the pit lane that should now update. Hasn't updated on the timing just yet. There we have an update, so hopefully, yeah, there we go, on the streaming software it has updated, thank goodness. So off we go then, first bit of racing action for today. And we'll see how this goes. Now, from when they were doing testing, it didn't seem as though the kart noise was getting picked up too badly on the microphone. So hopefully you can still hear me okay. Kart's currently flying down the start-finish straight. Now, of course, before these first heats of the day get kicked off, drivers getting some practice laps. Here we can see them. So they're coming through Haynes Loop at the moment. They'll then head down quite a long straight. So if I click number 2, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. So they head through into sector 2. We've had this a couple of times while testing. The cameras just decide they suddenly want to go, but they will come back, hopefully, at some point. If we switch through as well to sector 3, there we go. The start line cam as well, and up at midgets 2. So switching back over to scene number 1. Hopefully the start line cam comes back, because drivers getting into 2x2 formation, ready to kick this one off. To the green lights they go then, side by side through the first couple of corners. Any drivers going for any interesting moves with 3 wide down into the Haynes Loop. One driver already spinning in the background though. The 23 not making it even to the second corner there. So yeah, the 23 not on this grid according to the live time, so definitely incorrect there. Let's switch back over and keep an eye on who's come through the timing beam. So the 23 was Matthew Whitmarsh. So Matthew's gone for a little spin as we've got many drivers off down at the bus stop. 3, 4, 5 drivers off. couple rejoining from the grass, then a couple having to spin themselves back round and rejoin, but certainly a chaotic first race of the day here in the junior maxes, and to be fair, sort of what you expect from the juniors. 57 though has taken the lead. That's Zach Burke, came across the line in 4th place on the first lap of the day. For some reason my live timing is not continuing to update when I come off of the Google Chrome. There we go. Right, okay, it's staying now. I'm not going to try and not touch anything. And now we're going to try and keep up to date with the cameras. So we should shoot to the next section. We should see them coming down into the middle section of the circuit, through into the 3rd section now as well. Are we going to get some updates on that camera, or is the camera not going to play ball? We'll have to wait and see as they come through then. Round to the final corner. Still Zach Burke in the lead of this race. However, the number 88 is chasing him down. Freddie Whirlock chasing him down. 1/100th of a second slower on that last lap as they head back through into sector number 1 through the Haynes loop. I don't know why the cameras aren't automatically updating here, because you can see the Haynes loop as no one there, but I can promise you it does. So I think I'm going to need to change over in the gap before they get into that area. Right, we'll switch over to sector number 3 because they will be coming through here in any second time. It's not updating on the cameras, they're still further down the circuit, so this might be an issue for the rest of the day. The cameras aren't updating fast enough for me to switch between the scenes here. Let's go back to the first one, and hopefully you should see the drivers coming round to end the lap. Here they are. Still the top 2 line astern then. At that time, Freddie Whirlock slightly faster than Zach Burke, but Spencer Trayhorn now chasing them down. He took the fastest lap of the race with a 42.1, but it's Charles Green, the number 77, in 8th place, who now takes the fastest lap of the race. Impressive stuff, potentially the 77, one of those drivers that just didn't get the best of starts and now is fighting back through the pack nicely. Of course, I sadly can't tell you where they started the race because I don't have the grids. But they come through the final section then. You should be able to spot on the cameras there as they all start to come flying through. And it is still the same at the front, but once again, super close between Zach Burke and Freddie Whirlock. It does seem as though it's only going to be a matter of time before that changes, and it has changed. Move has been made in the first section by Freddie Whirlock, and he takes the lead of the race in his first heat of the day. Charles Green still the fastest driver on circuit, though Charles is absolutely flying. But he's yet to gain another position, is Charles. He might have done just there though. Yes, 77, Charles Green goes down the inside at the bus stop. Through he goes then, and you can see the drivers now coming into the final section of the circuit. There are your 2 leaders. They have swapped though since previous. Freddie Whirlock now leads us across the line. How long is left to go in this heat? I'm going to need to get up the live timing on my phone as well. There we go then, about halfway through this race, and we got one driver off into the final section of the circuit. Who has not come round? It's Matthew Whitmarsh, the number 23, and he is in a little bit of a dangerous position there, right on the exit of the bus stop chicane. Luckily, he's moved himself out of harm's way, but his Kart still very much there on the racing line. Drivers doing a very good job to avoid that as they come through on the exit of the bus stop. But look at this, top 4 getting close together now, aren't they? Again, just waiting to see if these cameras will update before they end up coming through the shots. Still Matthew Whitmarsh having a bit of issues there at the bus stop. Not sure if he's going to be able to get this car back on the circuit. Certainly not before the rest of the drivers come through, and he's going to have to wait once again. So Matthew's in a really tricky situation there as the drivers come through the final section of corners then. We'll head back to the starting line. You can see that is an old clip of the starting line, so I don't know what's going on with these cameras. We've gone Battenberg flag conditions, so another driver has stopped just after Matthew Whitmarsh. So as they come across the line now, under Battenberg conditions, all drivers getting back in line astern. We'll see who it is that starts to drop down the order. Looks like their car may have conked out, and yeah, they pulled over to a marshal post. So that driver out of the race, and it looks to be Rebecca Chalice, the number 22 of Rebecca Chalice, out of this race then halfway through. This Battenberg flag will be out because the stricken 23 of Matthew Whitmarsh couldn't move his car. This Battenberg flag has assisted, and he has now been able to do so. So let's switch back as they head down towards the bottom end of the circuit. Trying to keep up with about 10,000 things at the moment, but let's look then. They head down into Winger's Dip, then through Anson's and back up towards the bus stop. But again, Battenberg conditions then. They should go back to green flag conditions relatively soon. And there you can see when I go to my notes, for some reason, the live timing no longer seems to want to update. Let's see if that's changed. There we go. Back to updates then. With the driver still following line astern, what's the running order looking like now? Of course, Freddie Worlock made that move for the lead a couple of laps ago. Zach Burke still holding on to second place. And Spencer Trahorn and Eva Morris were working together nicely to close them back down, but they haven't needed to in the end. They've all been closed back up. So we're effectively going to get what is a safety car restart here as we go into the last couple of minutes of the race. So I said the last couple of minutes. There's 20 seconds officially on the clock here. So whether it's a last lap dash or whether it goes simply to checkered flag on the Battenberg conditions, we'll wait and see as they come round the final section of the circuit. Heading back to the first couple of cameras, wait for them to update, and hopefully they do by the time that this race hopefully gets underway. I can see the green flag getting ready to be put out here. And off they go then, back underway and racing for the junior Rotax heat number 1. We are on the last lap, so this is a last lap dash here. We're going to leave the cameras, we're going to try and move them over to camera point number 3 so you can see through the last section of the circuit. Hopefully they update fast enough, but I think we're going to have to ignore down at the bottom of the circuit for this stream anyway. Not fast enough updates on the cameras to be able to regain and see what's going on. You can still see the start line camera there. That is updated, and it is Freddie Worlock who still holds on to the lead here. Second place though, under pressure, Spencer Trahorn all over the back of Zach Burke as they head into the final section. Is it going to change though? Into the final corner they come. The checkered flag is out and waved, and it is Freddie Worlock who takes the win there. The driver's changing position right at the flag there. The number 70 of Aaron Osakis lost 2 or 3 positions there. Got it sliding around the last corner and just lost out there as they made it to the line. But that's it then, heat number 1 for your junior road taxes. Freddie Worlock takes the win with Zach Burke and Spencer Trahorn rounding out the podium. Eva Morris in 4th place with Jaden Sherwood there in 5th. Charles Green in 6th with Danny May Reid, Harvey Lee Winteridge, Toby Street and Teddy Cooper rounding out the top 10. It was Travis Rose in 11th. Aaron Osakis losing a couple of positions at the end there, but still your top place novice there in 12th place. Impressive there, because obviously the novices all seem to start from the back. Leo Busterfield in 13th. With Ben Ward in 14th, Canis Rao 15th, with Harvey Murden 16th, Elijah Dush 17th, with Alexander Stevenkoff in 18th, Jonas Janusauskas and Chase Rainsbury round out the top 20, with Jacob Clay, Madison Chappell finishing the running order of actual finishers. Actually, Matthew Whitmarsh did rejoin the track. He just finished a couple of laps down, and Rebecca Chalice, you may have just heard in the background, recovery vehicle over to assist and bring her back to the dummy grid. But first race done and dusted then, junior road tax heat number 1 is already over. Of course, short sharp heats here to kick off the day. The next drivers out on circuit will be the Honda Cadet 160s for their first heat. Right then, Honda Cadet heat number 1 exiting the pits. Heading on to their warm-up laps, of course, Honda Cadets. Standing start for these drivers. Very young drivers involved as well. We've got 16 on the grid today for the Honda Cadets. It's Daniel Barton and Arvi Froud who line up on the front row. Oliver Ratton and Oliver Spence. It's an all-Oliver row number 2. Arthur Kayser and Stanley Curley are there on row 3. With Arthur Way, James Devereux, Seth Jones and Tyler Banks there rounding out the top 10. And Nikita Roberts and Henry Duncan are there on row number 6. With Connor Yu and Max Smith on row 7. And Oakley Poulter and Kobe Wood on row number 8. Yeah, Honda Cadets, usually interesting racing, of course. The lower powered engines allow for that slipstream, and I think particularly at a circuit like this, that could make it rather interesting. To switch back over, how did the drivers do in the first round? Honda Cadet, it was Shea Hilton who won the first race. Now Shea doesn't seem to be here today, so this opens up for another driver to be able to get involved and potentially take the championship lead for themselves. But as I say, Daniel Barton, the pole sitter, you should be able to see them. Aha, fantastic. We do have live pictures of the grid then, as the number 58 pulls forward into his pole position grid slot. So as the drivers sit 2 by 2, they'll soon be getting this race underway. Once again, 8 minutes plus 1 lap, I believe, for these heats. 6 minutes plus 1 lap. 7 minutes plus 1 lap. Thank you. So used to Rye House, it being 8 minutes plus 1 lap. 1 minute less here at Rye House, Forest Edge. I'm getting myself all in a tizzy. Hey, I mean, I spoke to one of the clerks and I was told it was 8 minutes plus 1 lap, so I'm going to blame them. Sorry, Lucy, if you're listening. Right then, all drivers seemingly gridded up in the correct grid slots. Daniel Barton in pole position on the outside of the first corner, but of course that first turn of, I believe it's Parsons, the first corner. Not really a corner, to be honest. It's still going to be flat, especially in these Honda Cadet karts. So then the number 58 will have the inside, heading then down into Haynes Loop. Drivers look up at the lights, so engine revs rise, and we're underway and racing. It's a great start from P2 and P3. Arvi Froud and Oliver Ratton all over your pole sitter. The 22 going down straight, all of them. So Oliver Ratton goes from 3rd to 1st. And this very impressive in the number 22. And it's already as the drivers press on into sector number 2. Heading up to the bus stop, change to second place, down the inside. One driver steals it away. I want to say that there was a 2 in the second part of that number, but I imagine my eyes must be deceiving me. As Oliver Ratton, as I mentioned, still there in the lead of the race, and under pressure and down the inside goes to 47. It's been a great start from Arthur Way. He's already got to second, now up into the lead of the race by the end of lap 1. What a start from Arthur Way! Unbelievable. On the open lap of this one. And he was stealing it there, was Arthur. But he needs to be a little bit careful. He's certainly not dropping Oliver Ratton at the moment. As they come up to the bus stop then, still Arthur Way leading Oliver Ratton. Daniel Barton now trying to get involved as well. These 3 starting to break away from the rest of the pack. 4th and 5th very close as they head up through the top section. Not sure why it's still not updated. There you go, you can see them there coming through the cameras now through the last few sections of the circuit. The 11 of Seth Jones still ahead of Stanley Curley there for 4th place. In behind those side by side for 6th place. Down the inside goes the 39 of Tyler Banks, trying to put a move on Nikita Roberts, and I think just about gets it done as they head down into the Haynes Loop. Through into Winger's Dip then, very fast section of the circuit, heavy braking and then back on the power as you head all the way back up to the bus stop. But this race already looking to be commanded by Arthur Way as they head up into the top section of the circuit. He's now putting a lovely gap between himself and Oliver Ratton. Of course, to remind you, it's not so surprising that someone can come from 5th to 1st here on the first lap, as there's change for 2nd place. Back through goes Daniel Barton, takes the place of Oliver Ratton. Of course, Oliver took that lead on the first couple of corners of this race, away from Daniel Barton, who had that pole position. Daniel retaking 2nd place then as we get into around halfway through this race. Yeah, 3 minutes done, just over 4 minutes to go then, and half of the way, still setting fastest lap after fastest lap of 48.5, and only himself and Seth Jones down in the 48s at the moment. Change to 2nd place once again though. This is a great little battle. Back through has gone Oliver Ratton down at the bus stop, retakes 2nd place, but I think it's a little bit too late for either of them to even think about challenging Arthur Way at the front of the order here, as I was going to say. Random grids in all of these heats, so not so surprising that Arthur comes through from 5th to 1st if he's showing this short of pace. 48.2 already, and there you see on the timing, Ratton back through on Barton then. Changes on the back of the order as well. Harvey Duncan has made up a couple of places on the last lap. He's up into 10th. There was a change as well on the previous lap, with Smith getting past Spence. The bus stop, they're still battling for 2nd place, trying it down the inside. A very late move there from Daniel Barton, but once again it changes up in those podium positions, and now Oliver Ratton under pressure from 4th place. Seth Jones sending it already as they head into sector 3. He's still on the inside as they go 2 by 2 down into the last couple of corners. He's trying it down the inside, and he does get it done. Number 11 through into 3rd place, and that momentum switches for the number 22 of Oliver Ratton. He loses 2 places on the last lap, and out of the podium positions for this heat he goes. And now can Seth Jones think about potentially catching Daniel Barton there in 2nd place? 2.5 minutes left to go on the clock here in heat number 1 for the for the Honda Cadets. Just hearing a contact warning coming through. Oliver Ratton, the number 22, just needing to keep his nose a bit clean. Well, he's made it back into 3rd place, so potentially that's the reason why he's getting a contact warning. He's back through on Seth Jones, and Seth, I think potentially has even lost another place, has he? No, it is the 63. No, yes, and Nikita Roberts finds their way into 4th place. Where has Seth Jones gone in the number 11? Seth Jones really dropping down the order, so they've definitely come together here over the last couple of hours. There is Seth Jones across the line in 9th place. So I think we can assume that Oliver Ratton has gone for the re-overtake down at the Haynes Loop. It was a re-overtake down at Haynes Loop. Bit of contact made, and Oliver Ratton getting a contact warning for that, but he finds himself back in 3rd place. However, Seth Jones, the biggest loser from that. Yeah, he lost 7 seconds on that last lap. We'll see them come through up the top of the order now, through the top section of the circuit. I think this camera will stay on because I've got it on 2 different things. So yeah, you can still see live pictures down into the start-finish straight. Hopefully the Haynes Loop will return for us shortly. But we look for this battle for 3rd place. Is that another change? Yes, it is. Nikita Roberts continues to press forward here on the number 63. Takes away 3rd place from Oliver Ratton then, and now Stanley Curley is involved with this one as well. Those 3 line astern as they head down into sector 2. The number 41 pressuring heavily is Stanley Curley. He wants that place, not able to go for the move though. Down through Winger's Dip, up towards the bus stop they come. They're still line astern. None of the drivers close enough to think about a move this time around though. 40 seconds on the clock. And we'll see as they come through sector 3. I think I'm just going to try and hold it on these first couple of cameras and keep you updated through the rest of the lap, because the cameras just can't seem to update quite fast enough today. 2nd place comes through, that being the 58 of Daniel Barton there, but here's the battle that we're watching. Roberts versus Ratton versus Kearley. Into Haynes Loop they go then. But Roberts, after making that move for 3rd place, is doing a good job of fending off the 2 behind, but suddenly a second wind of pace from Oliver Ratton. He's just set his own personal best of the race. As they head down through Winger's Dip then, will he have made the move? Not quite yet, but he is still right over the rear bumper. So timer has hit 0. When Arthur Way comes round the final corner, he will be seeing that last lap board, but what a race it's been for Arthur Way. Nearly 4 seconds in the lead here in a 7-minute heat. That's unbelievable from Arthur Way. What pace he's got. A Fernando Alonso-esque helmet, and he's producing some Fernando Alonso-esque driving at the moment. Wide line out of the final corner there for Stanley Kearney. That's not going to help him. To be fair, he still set a personal best on that lap, even getting it very sideways through the final corner there. But this is the last lap. Last opportunity for Oliver Ratton to try and get back into the top 3. He started on pole position for this race. No, he didn't. Oliver Ratton started in 3rd, but of course got to the lead on the first lap. Oliver Ratton has made the move down at Winger's Dip up to 3rd place. He goes then, and now Nikita Roberts, after making a great charge through the field, finds himself under pressure on Stanley Kearney, but no, he's going to go for it down the inside. A little bit too late on the brakes there. We try and keep an eye on that battle, but your winner off the way comes through, sees the checkered flag, but it's his battle for 3rd that we're watching. Oliver Ratton just about holds on to it in the last couple of corners, and the 63 of Nikita Roberts has to give up that 3rd place there on the last lap. Daniel Barton sandwiched them there in 2nd place, with Nikita Roberts 4th, Stanley Kearney there rounding out the top 5. A great battle between those 3 all the way to the line, with Connor Yu, your top place novice there, in 6th place. Tyler Banks, Seth Jones, James Devereux and Henry Duncan rounded out the top 10, with Avi Froud, Arthur Kaiser and Kobe Wood there all coming across the line astern. That was a good little battle from those drivers. And Max Smith now comes across the line, your 14th and final finisher there from Honda Cadet Heat number 1. Sadly, Oliver Spence not making it past lap number 2 in that one, and it looked like Oakley Poulter didn't even make it to the grid, so hopefully we'll still see Oakley later on today. But that's it then for Honda Cadet Heat number 1. Hopefully my phone can load in fast enough. There we go. Up next is your Rotax Cadets for their Heat number 1. Right then, back again. This time the Rotax Cadets head out for their first heat of the day. Let's run you through the grid then. It's Rio Peacock on the number 66, who lines up on pole position. Alongside him on the front row is Ethan Coupland, the number 43. Row number 2, Freya Bond and Elijah West there. Then row 3, Ellis Honey and Joseph Smith. Row 4, Matthew Lilly and Kieran Ranger. And rounding out the 10 cars on the grid for this one, Oakley Wiggs and Max Tomsit. So slightly smaller grid than we saw for the Honda Cadets, but still good to see some fantastic racing. I'm sure we will see this from the Rotax Cadets. Again, one one of our slower karts involved, but again, very young drivers. So we'll see. I think, indeed, yeah, false start for this first time. So drivers will go round again. You see them doing the little finger wiggle. I did have someone. Which stream was it at? Was it the Wilton Mill Kart Club? I can't remember. We had people in the chat. Oh no, it was BUKC. That was it. British University's Karting Championship on Friday from Wilton Mill. A couple of people being like, what are they doing with that finger waggling? So drivers signalling that they have seen and trying to tell the other drivers that we're going round again. That the race start will not be carried out this time around. Just so no one goes to the race start. Suddenly you have a big crash and people aren't realising that the race start is being aborted. But hopefully this time around looks like we're good to go for 7 minutes plus 1 lap here in the Rotax Cadet Heat number 1. It's Rhea Peacock and Ethan Coupland who lead us to the green lights here. Already 3 wide as they come across the southern sun. There's a spin already for the number 28 round the first corner, and it's Joseph Cox who's gone for a little 180 rotation there through sector number 1. Down to the middle section they go then. I do believe it is still Rhea Peacock who leads the race on the number 66. He has had a good start, and it is indeed through the first section of corners. It's off goes second place. Ethan Coupland makes a mistake at the bus stop and loses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 positions. So unlucky there for Ethan, just makes a minor mistake through the middle of the bus stop, finds the grass on the outside, and what a lead this has given. The 99 of Elijah West it is who's had this incredible start. So now the 66 of Rhea Peacock finds themselves in second place. But it's Elijah West on the 99 from 4th place who has made this incredible race start here. Moves being made still in the mid-pack, the number 24 of Freya Bond, just losing a couple of positions there through the first sector. Move for second place as well down at the bottom. Rhea Peacock could be under a bit of pressure here, and he is under pressure. And he has lost a position. Yes, 2 drivers I think have potentially gone through. No, he's still there in second place. It's changed to behind them though for third, I do believe. Now the change to second place, down the inside into sector number 3. 2, potentially even 3 positions lost there for Rhea Peacock. He managed to hold it in 4th place, but through comes the 30, through comes the 20. That's Ellis Honey and Matthew Lilly who have come through there into second and third respectively. Still the drivers super close in behind them though. Not letting up in this battle for second place, and it's all still very, very close. But of course, with these drivers all battling so closely in behind for second place, what an easy race that this is becoming for Elijah West. That gap across the line, almost 5 seconds already for your leader in this one. And I do think with this battling going on in behind, it's just going to continue extending over the last few minutes of this race. Still 4.5 minutes on the clock though, lots of time for these drivers to make up positions, but lots of time for it all to go wrong as well. We saw Ethan Coupland make that mistake on lap number 1, struggling to see where he has got back up to. Is he on the, yes, he's on the back of this main gaggle battle for second then. It's the 31 of Oakley Riggs who is the sort of divider between the 2 groups of 3. As the 66 under quite a bit of pressure, Rhea Peacock dropping into the main part of this gaggle, and now he's finding himself being overtaken down into Winger's Dip as well. So that would have been Freya Bond going for a move down the inside. She makes up a position on the number 24, up to 5th place goes Freya. And now Rhea Peacock under pressure from Ethan Coupland. They started side by side on the front row, but now they're battling for 6th place in this race. Second place battle hotting up though, the number 20, Matthew Lilly, all over the back of the 30, and the 30's been in the pressure. Big slide through the final corner. Does that leave an opportunity for a gap for the number 20 down into Hainslow? Not this time around, he can't quite squeeze through. Can't quite get the door open. And second and third stay as they were. It has definitely all changed from behind though, and that's allowed for gaps to start to form as the 66 of Rhea Peacock now finds himself in 7th place, overtaken by Ethan Coupland on that last lap. And I want to take my eyes off of this second place battle though, as they head up into sector number 3. Still unable to find a way through is Matthew Lilly. He's looking very fast. Check over the shoulder, down into the final couple of corners. The 30 of Ellis Honey putting on a defensive masterclass here. Slide out the last corner, this time from the 20 of Matthew Lilly. He's trying to get the power down, but look at this. The number 30 of Ellis Honey making his car about the same size as a double-decker bus here, and not allowing for the 20 to get through. Not long left on the times, 2.5 minutes still though, so a number of laps still to come here at Forest Edge. I always say as well, if I don't talk about you much in the race, it's either an absolute stinker for you, you've had an unbelievable race. It's definitely the latter here for Elijah West, still leading this race. Last time around it was 6.5 seconds, and with these two still battling for second place, I can only see that gap increasing and increasing throughout this first heat of the day for the Rotax Cadets. Right in the final corner come those two battling for second place. They're still as they were. Not a great exit from second place. The 20 pushes him down into Haynes Loop, but again, can't seem to find a way past. In behind, the 31 of Oakley Riggs, now under pressure from Freya Bond and Ethan Coupland. So Ethan, after that challenging start, has fought back nicely so far in this race. Now onto the back of two more drivers and trying to make up for that difficult start. Ooh, big moment there through the bus stop for Matthew Lilly. Nearly loses it on the exit curve, manages to hold the slide though. That was very impressive, but that's just given about a kart length of breathing room to second place of Ellis Honey. They head through the final corner then to start a new lap of the race. In behind it is still Oakley Riggs, just about holding on to third place. But the two behind looking rather feisty, and of course Oakley Riggs is currently your highest placed novice in this race. We've got 3 in this race at the moment, and Oakley battling in with the big boys. So impressive stuff from him. However, he is under pressure as they head down into the middle section of the circuit, as there might be the move for second into the bus stop. Finally they go side by side, and he does make the move. Matthew Lilly, after how many laps of waiting, trying to find a way past, he finally gets it done with only 45 seconds on the clock left to go. And it was actually a really nicely placed move there that blocked the 30 to the inside of the bus stop, meaning he had to really take off a lot of speed, and that's given Matthew Lilly a nice gap as well in second place. We now look to the battle in behind for fourth. Oakley Riggs now being the one to put it on a bit of a defensive masterclass here as they head through the Haynes Loop and out of your camera shots, down towards the middle section of the circuit. And Oakley still doing a great job here, holding on to the position. Into the bus stop they come. Still Oakley leading Freya, leading Ethan at the moment. Ethan not getting a great exit there out of the bus stop. Here comes your leader though. He's going to be the first to see the last lap board. So Elijah West, 47.5, is almost a second faster than anyone else. At 47.1 is his fastest lap of this race, which is about nearly half a second faster than anyone else across this race. So what pace has been shown here by Elijah West. This is going to be a great confidence builder for him as they head into the rest of the day. Trying to see, so it was Ansel who took the win in the final last time around, but Jack Blackman leads the championship. Ethan Coupland in second with Freya Bond in third. I think potentially it is indeed the first time on circuit for the driver who takes the win here in heat number 1. Pumps his fist in the air, as he should be very happy with that one. Elijah West sees the checkered flag first and wins by a huge margin. The number 30 there, Ellis Honey, chases back down the drivers on the last lap, but can't quite catch Matthew Honey. However, in the background though, we missed a little move. Freya Bond did take fourth place away from Oakley Riggs there. Finishing in fifth though, a very impressive performance from your highest placed novice driver. Did well in the championship, or did well in round 1 to set themselves up for a good championship, and has seemingly continued that here at round number 2. Ethan Coupland had obviously that front row start made that mistake out of the bus stop on the first lap, and from there he was just trying to fight back as best he could to salvage a good position. And 6th place, not too shabby, but he might be a bit frustrated with that from his front row starting position. Rear Peacock again starting on pole position for that one, finishing in 2nd place with Joseph Cox, Kieran Ranger and Max Tomsit rounding out the 10 finishers for that one. So good as well to see that all drivers who took to the start there also seeing the checkered flag. But Rotax Cadet heat number 1 is done and dusted. There we move on to race 4 of the day. It's the Rotax Inters. Right then, Rotax Inters already out onto the circuit. Let's run you through the grid. Elliot Dimolo will be on pole position with this one. Warwick Milam alongside on the first row of the grid. Warwick Milam, definitely a name I recognise there on P2. Same for Daniel Wisnauskas and Ethan Collins there on row number 2. Louis Barker and Konstantin Kwastev are on row 3, with Fenton Stoneman and Oscar Stockley King on row number 4. James Finley rounds out the 9 starters for this one. Now I do know Oscar Stockley King fills my mentions on the Kart Sim account. He is a big fan of Kart Sim, so good to see him out here getting involved and racing this weekend. I'm pretty sure Oscar potentially visited the Kart Sim HQ last week, so good for Oscar to come and have a go on our proper Kart Sim rigs. But now he's out there for real. Drivers go 2 by 2 to the lights then. And it will be the 57 of Ethan Dimmelong who leads us on to lap number 1. Tries to hold the inside, but driver diving down the inside. I think that's from 2nd or 3rd row of the grid there. Who has got, it's the 27 it seems, who takes the lead of the race. So Daniel Wisnauskas from 3rd place on the grid, already up into the lead. It was a fantastic move down the inside into the first corner, and he's made it work. And look at the gap he's already pulled. Unbelievable. Into the bus stop chicane, move for 3rd place. 35 down the inside, that's putting Myron position to the last number to the last couple of corners. The 57 has really lost out here. Elliot Dimolo now finding himself dropping down to the back of this secondary pack. But after making up a great amount of time on the first lap for Daniel Wisnauskas, Fenton Stoneman now is all over him. Fenton Stoneman started in 7th place. This is Fenton's rear start for the day, and he's now all over the leader as they head through the bus stop chicane. Up into the top section of the circuit then. And when's he going to think about it? Not quite yet. Down into the final corners, he's gone for it, laid down the inside, and Fenton Stoneman takes the lead of the race. So across the start-finish line they go. Through the middle section of the circuit then, still Fenton Stoneman who leads this race then after making the move late on the previous lap. But 3rd place Warwick Milam is definitely starting to close them down as they head through up into midgets. Now down towards climate they go. In the background, moves being made though up at midgets, change for 5th place. It looks to be James Finley who's made up the spot, and it is James Finley who's made up the spot. The 43 past the 46 as they head on to lap number 3. Great to see them absolutely caning it through the middle section of the circuit, through Johnny's, getting all over the exit curb on the outside, and now flying up back towards the bus stop chicane. Definitely these top 3 closing up lap on lap on lap, so potentially near the end of this race we could see them closed up and it become a proper battle between those 3. Changing behind though, as I mentioned, good moving up through the field for Finley. James Finley, the top placed novice at the moment. And it's the 46 of Louis Barker that's trying to hold on. In behind, Konstantin Krastev has made a move. He goes past Elliot Dimilov, and so does Oscar Stotley-King. So Oscar following Konstantin through there to take 7th and 8th respectively. 3 minutes and 40 seconds left to go on the clock. And Fenton Stoneman, what a race it's been. If he can do this from his rear start here. As I've accidentally clicked I hotkeyed this, but then that means sometimes you accidentally click them, so apologies. I've just sent you back to the intro screen there. We are still racing here in the Rotax Cadet Heat number 1. These top 3 definitely still closing in together though. Very close between Stotley-King and the number 13 of Konstantin Krastev. Oscar trying to find a way through here through sector 1, but he's not quite close enough to get anything done this time around. Continuing to close in is Warwick Milam. He sets a new fastest lap of the race of a 44.12 that last time around. There was a personal best ahead though of Daniel Wisnauskas. Still not fast enough though to be catching Fenton Stoneman, so potentially Fenton Stoneman's lucky charm could actually be Daniel Wisnauskas here, because Daniel could hold up Warwick enough to mean that Warwick isn't able to catch Fenton before the end of this race. You see them head through the first couple of corners, down into the Haynes loop they go. And any changes further down the order? Yeah, there is. As Oscar Stotley-King, that is. So Konstantin Krastev has had an issue there on that last lap. He dropped about 5 or 6 seconds as something's happened to Konstantin Krastev that's dropped him to last place in this race. Oscar Stotley-King managed to get through into 7th, and then beneficiary of that as well, Elliot Dimilov in 8th place now. But 3rd place, Warwick Milam has caught Daniel Wisnauskas, but it's one thing to catch a driver, it's a whole nother thing to get past. Can Warwick do anything to steal away this 2nd place over the last 1 minute 40 of racing here in the heat number 1 for Rotax Cadets? Sorry, the Rotax Inters. It was the Cadets out last time. Slightly more powerful karts than these. I think it's just a different restrictor plate, to be honest, on the engine. Oh, very close into the bus stop there. I thought Warwick might pull the trigger, but just not quite feeling he's close enough. Up into midgets, big check over the shoulder there from Daniel Wisnauskas. I think he's decided there's no chance I'm going to be catching the leader here of Fenton Stoneman. This is just my race to hold on to 2nd place. But of course the opposite of that being thought by the number 35. The longer he sits behind here, the less time for him to catch the leader and take maximum points from heat number 1 in the Rotax Inters. In behind, the rest of the drivers all in their own sort of gaggle here. Close once again between the 43 of James Finley and the 46 of Louis Barker. James, of course, passed Louis a few laps ago, but Louis chasing him back down and potentially able to think about a move relatively soon. Up through the bus stop they go once again, and there is a change for 2nd place as I look back to that battle with Louis Barker down in the middle section of the circuit. Move made by Warwick Milam. But I think it's a little bit too little too late here. Still 20 seconds on the clock, so I think 2 more laps of this Forest Edge kart circuit to go here in the Rotax Inter Heat number 1. And Warwick Milam makes the pass for 2nd place. I will say as well, Ethan Cousins making some good moves up into 4th place he is. And Ethan Cousins, I was thinking, has been pressing on very nicely in this race. Takes the new fastest lap of the race. 44.02 fastest time set now, but Ethan Cousins about a second behind Daniel Wisnauskas as they went on to this lap. Was about 7/10 faster on the last lap, so could be close here as they head on to the final lap of the race. Through the last few corners they come then, down into Climate, through Tollies they go. They see the last lap board. And only 1 more lap of this race to go then. Definitely Ethan Cousins has closed in here on Daniel Wisnauskas, but I do think it's going to be a little bit too little too late here as they head through sector number 2. Slight gaps there between all of those drivers. Closest battle still between James Finley and Louis Barker. They've just headed through the loop. Potentially a change there. There is a change down into the boot section of corners, or the boot section, the bus stop I should say. I'm getting so many different kart tracks confused today. James Finley gets 4th place away, Louis Barker gets 4th place away from James Finley. Impressive stuff, but round the final corner comes the race winner, the 48 of Benton Stoneman, takes maximum points there from heat number 1. Warwick Milam in 2nd with Daniel Wisnauskas in 3rd place. Ethan Cousins in 4th with James Finley rounding out the top 5, so it must have changed back again there after an overtake at the bus stop from Louis Barker. James Finley re-overtaking there through sector 3 and holding on to his 5th place. An impressive performance there from the novice driver. Also for the novice driver Oscar Sotley King there in 7th place. Elliot Doriloff finishes in 8th with Konstantin Krastev, your final of 9 finishers there in that Rotax Inter heat number 1. 4 races already done and dusted here today, but we have been lacking a little bit of power early on in this one. Of course, you saw the Junior Maxes early on. We now go to their big brothers and sisters. It's the Senior Max heat number 1 coming up next. Right then, seniors head out of the pits there. Heat number 1 coming up next. Let's run you through the grid for this one. Race number 5, it's Aaron Full and Ben Hicks who line up on the front row. Elliot Rice and Matt Jones are on row number 2. Matthew Lambert and George Hume are there on row 3, with Ben Ballou and Paulo Nunes Aranda on row 4. Ben Ballou, of course, your Southern Champs champion from last year. See what he can do there from P7. Ethan Lomax and Michael Pugh are on row number 5. William Ray and Sam Hammerson on row 6. Liam Note and Finley Patterson are on row 7, with Kieran Ice and Elliot Barrett on row 8. Henry Stratton and Bradley Howes there on row number 9. And Aidan Blair and James Griffin, your 2 novice drivers, on row number 10. Many names I recognise in this race. Ben Ballou, of course, racing at Wilton Mill Kart Club. Same with Paulo Nunes Aranda and William Ray. A couple of drivers here that I know are very, very quick. This could be an interesting opening heat of the day then for senior road taxes. So I've just seen there's been no update on the timing, so potentially... no, there is just no update yet on the timing. I keep not knowing whether it's my fault or simply has not been updated just yet. But luckily, all going to plan for now. Anyway, if you're enjoying the live stream, make sure you subscribe to the Forest Edge Kart Club YouTube channel. Hopefully we're having lots more streams throughout the season, and hopefully I'll be joining you for a few more of those. Are we ready for a start, or are we going round again? Looks as though we're going round again. And we are indeed. False start flag shown then. I think potentially some of the drivers are a little bit confused as to whether we were starting or not there, but all slowing it down through the first couple of corners and getting back into 2x2 formation. Of course, to remind you, 7 minutes plus 1 lap for these heats. Drivers got to be a little bit careful. You see this so much in kart racing that the drivers copy their older brothers and sisters in Formula 1 doing lots of tyre warming, but I think I can't count on 2 hands how many times I've seen drivers bin it on the formation lap just from trying to warm up their tyres a little bit too much and suddenly find, oh dear, I'm facing in the wrong direction, then trying to rejoin their grid position, causing mayhem for everyone else, and we get another false start. Luckily, that's not happened here in the seniors, all remaining nice and calm and all doing a great job at getting those tyres as warm as possible. But as I say, it's Aaron Full and Ben Hicks who line up on the front row for this one, where we've seen, I don't think many times today, that the pole position holder has actually been leading after the first lap. Will it happen in this one in the seniors? Off we go then. Good start for the 23. They're 3 wide already as they head down into the first couple of corners. All getting very close in the mid-pack there, and that's allowing for the leader to already start to build a nice little gap. Through into sector number 2 then, move down the inside with the 76. The 87 nearly squeezed out to the curb there. That's Matt Jones getting it all sorts of sideways through the middle part of the circuit, but all continuing down into the bus stop then. No moves being made, all drivers line astern. One in the background though, to be fair, between the two novices. James Griffin through on Aidan Blair, but Aidan retakes on the exit. We've got a driver off down into the final section. Looks like their car has given up the ghost and already out of this race. It is Aaron Full who leads us to after lap number 1. Who is the one dropping down the order? It's Ben Ballou. The champs driver is out of this race already. So Ben Ballou not even seeing the end of lap number 1 then in the first heat of the day for seniors. That's absolutely gutting. His hands are on his head and he's super frustrated with the outcome of this first senior road tax heat, understandably so, as I think that will be one of his mid starts. He's still got a front and a back start to contend with then later on today. The drivers fly through the first couple of sections, down through the final corner of Tollies, then into Parsons, and down through Haynes Loop. Bit of a slide there as they head in. Elliot Rice getting it nice and sideways. Matthew Lambert close, but not close enough to make the most of it. But it's the driver behind on the number 84, Ben Hicks, who's taken the fastest lap of the race. Just trying to close down those 3 in the leaders, and also being dragged along as well. You've got 3 drivers following line astern. George Hewell, Matthew Pugh and Matt Jones there. Moves into the final section very late on the brakes to the inside there. That's a move for 8th place. So that's, I think, Sam Harrison making up a move on Paulo Nunes Aranda. Paulo Nunes Aranda getting shuffled back so many places. Not gone well on that lap there for Paulo Nunes Aranda. He lost 1 position and ended up losing 5 because of that. That's just how close it is in the senior road taxes. That secondary gaggle of karts there from its 8th place backwards, now headed up by Ethan Lomax, is so close. Drivers getting all over the rear bumpers there as they head down through the bus stop chicane and move to the inside there. That's William Ray down the inside, and William Ray takes away 8th spot from Ethan Lomax. Round the last couple of corners they come then, and the leading group are definitely closing in. Move made by the 87 on the 11. Matt Jones takes the place from George Hume. Early on in that lap, Michael Pugh also took the place away from Matt Jones. From George Hume, even, so George losing 2 places on that last lap. 3rd and 4th now very close together. Ben Hicks pressuring the back of Matthew Lambert, and it is Ben Hicks who now has the fastest lap of the race, and I do think Ben Hicks has just gone for the move for 3rd place. Yeah, 84 indeed, into 3rd place goes Ben Hicks. He is looking on a mission here, is Ben. 39.91, the fastest lap of the race. Only driver also in the 39s by 100th of a second is Elliot Rice there in 2nd place. Elliot still unable to challenge the leader though at the moment. He's got good pace. Both checking over the shoulder at the 2 leaders as they head down into the bus stop chicane just to see what kind of gap they have to those 2 in behind, who realistically now need to start working together if they want anything better than 3rd and 4th place respectively. Battling behind though for 5th place. Those 3 still following line astern. But it's the battle even further behind that. Now headed up by the 65 of William Ray. So on that last lap he has got through on Ethan Lomax. Then it's Liam Matei and Sam Harrison, Kieran Ives, Paolo Zaranda, Finley Patterson, Henry Stratton, Bradley House and Ethan Barrow all involved in that one battle. But no moves just yet through this lap. The 84 all over the back of the driver ahead. That'll be the 94 of Liam Natey all over the back of Ethan Lomax. Very close there through sector number 3 and potentially already making the move. I don't think, not quite able to make it stick, so no. Me and Nate thought about the move on Ethan Lomax. It didn't work, and Sam Harrison managed to squeeze through. Oh, big crash out of the second couple of corners. Driver up and over. They're on the ground, but I think we're going to go red flag conditions here in the senior road tax heat number 1. That was quite the big off there, and the other driver involved running over to assist, but it is indeed going to be red flag conditions here in the senior road tax heat number 1. Drivers will be coming to a halt here at the start-finish straight. Driver hopefully all okay there, up and over they went, and that was quite the big one there. I want to say potentially the 98 of Elliot Barrel, the one involved there. But I think we'll go to a short break here before we get any updates, but hopefully all drivers involved all okay, and we can get the senior road tax heat number 1 restarted relatively soon. Right, just a quick update for you then, ladies and gentlemen. It was indeed the number 98 of Elliot Barrel who went for a bit of a barrel roll out of sector number 1 there. Luckily, he's up and seemingly all okay, being treated by the medical staff, but that does mean that the result has been called for the senior road tax heat number 1. As the drivers make their way back to the pits, that'll be it. That's called as the final result for the first heat of the day. So it means that Aaron Full, Elliot Rice and Ben Hicks take the top 3 in that one, but I'm sure Aaron wanted to fight for a little bit longer there to hold on to the lead of that one, but they'll be back out soon enough later on today for their second heat. So race 5 is over and done with. We've got a split grid for the next one. 177 Rotax Masters and the 177 Rotaxes for their first heat, and that will be coming up in only a few moments' time. Right then, ladies and gentlemen, after a little break there, we see some action back out on track. Hopefully the driver involved in that last race crash is okay, because that was one of the biggest ones I've seen in a little while, that one. You don't often see karts flip, but when you do, it's always a biggie, so hopefully the driver all okay. We saw them up and walking, but let's move on to the Rotax 177s and the 177 Masters. Luckily, makes my job easier. The drivers all mixed in together, so I don't need to worry too much about the class. It's Oliver Appleby and Toby Case who line up on the front row of the grid. Ben Avery and Sam Ward are there on row number 2. Row 3 as Robert Simpson and David Simpson, and Gary Cox and Archie Elliott are there on row number 4. Row 5 as Colin Davis and Daniel Wright with Reece Fluin. Damn, I've been to a Welsh university, but even I will struggle with that last name. Alongside him is Chris Thomas. So there's Harry Simpson, Adrian Jeffrey there on row number 7. Jake Davis and Dennis Tletsiak on row number 8. Neil Henning and Lisa Hutchings are there on row 9. Then Lincoln Bailey Arneson, Joshua Pickford, Adam Clark, Ryan O'Gara and Ryan Silverthorne. There, the 23 karts on the grid for this one. Quite a big grid, with the combined grid there for the 177 and the 177 Masters. They lead us to the lights then. Lights go out. We're underway and racing. Who takes us in a stop? Lovely moment there for number 80 and Ben Avery in third place. Over to the side. And it all seems to still be as it was. Archie for this one. Check yourself. Really close there in the middle back. These races, action galore from early on here. Almost into the middle section of the circuit. That would have been a really late dive to the inside there. And it is still Toby Case who leads this race on the number 60. Toby Case up from second place on the grid, so he has made the move. I think on the last lap on the 63 of Sam Ward. Sam getting a good exit though, trying to put alongside as they head down for the first couple of corners. The 25 inside. Sam Ward takes the lead once again inside by section. Really laid down the inside of the 54 of Archie Elliott. He now takes third place for himself, and they're all just about managed to get back in single file before they head down into Winger's Dip. To the bus stop chicane they come then, and this is allowed for Sam Ward to create a little bit of a gap. He made that move at the to the lead of the race, and now he's starting to press on ahead as the others get in a bit of a behind. Number 60 still finds himself in the picture. Now from Archie Elliott. Archie Elliott the fastest lap of the race, but now Sam Ward takes it. That's the way of Chris Thomas. Now it goes the way of Lincoln Bailey Arneson in 15th place. Continuing there for 4th place. The 80 and the 25, the 25 not happy with that at all. Over it is send down the inside of David Simpson, and David Simpson with his hands up, very annoyed at that one. Loses over 25, but potentially putting the McGregor flag, you know. Broken. Simpson. So David Simpson, frustrated with a move sent on him, now has a rear bumper issue. Mechanical flag. Big spin for the 80. Big spin for the 80. He's off down in the section of the circus of Hungary after making a move. Gets into the back of the bumper of the driver and goes forward to spin. So Ben Avery, the race was going very well for Ben, but it takes a turn for the worse there. Down into Climber, that was. Second place battle still very close here. Archie Elliott all over the back of Toby Case, but unable to find a way through as of yet. Just as I say that, thinking about a move to the inside, can't quite make it work though. Into Tollings they come. over the start-finish gantry, or under the start-finish gantry once again, I should say. And the 25, shake of the head, he's seen the mechanical flag in there. You can see the broken rear bumper. Very dangerous, but he doesn't come into the pit lane. He doesn't come into the pit lane. He saw that black and orange flag, and now that's going to become a black flag. The number 25, 1,000% he saw that, because there was a big shake of the head as he came across the line. Move for second place, so down the inside into the last section of corners. Archie Elliott, after waiting lap after lap, finally goes through it for second place, and he does take it away from second place. Now just behind them, it's the number 14 of Gary Cox, who's trying to chase them down. He's on his own though, pressing forward towards those drivers. The number 25 gives a thumbs up as there's nearly a crash across the start-finish line. The 83 gets into the back of the 80 there, that was a close one. Neil Hemming nearly going up and over the back of Ben Avery, but luckily landing back on the wheels and continuing on with this race. 2 minutes and 20 seconds left to go on the clock in this one. And now the closest battle seemingly over 5th place. Will there be a move for 5th? Not quite close enough there. And the number 71 just shots onto it into the last corner though. Down the inside of Tollies goes the 24. And move made by Robert Simpson for 5th place. And now he's under pressure. Holds the inside. Moves behind him as well. Changing, but I think that was 7th place potentially. Aidan Jeffrey making a move. But Lincoln Bailey Arneson still your fastest driver out there on circuit. 41.64 for Lincoln. And they're still going at it in that battle for 5th place. Waiting to see as they come through the final section. As you can see them coming to your camera shot now. 24 now at the front of this train, that's Robert Simpson, followed across the line by Colin Davies, Charlie Thomas, Aidan Jeffrey, Joshua Pickford, Lisa Hutchins, moving the midpoint though. Send down the inside as they head through into sector number 2. That was the 56 making up a place, so Joshua Pickford, I believe, through on Aidan Jeffrey there. Leader comes up into the boot section. Here comes this big they're into the almost into the back of the driver ahead there. Driver in around 7, 8, 9, 10th place, but now loses the place up in the top corner. So potentially that is Lincoln Bailey Arneson, has great pace and is starting to make some moves as well. Lisa Hutchins getting involved too. But they're confirmed on your timing, it was Lisa Hutchins and Lincoln Bailey Arneson getting through there. And Adrian Jeffrey, through the first couple of corners they come. And it's all too close to call there for about 5th place backwards. Still Robert Simpson holding on to 5th, and to be fair, I do think the drivers at the front of this chain are catching Gary Cox in 4th place. Of course, Gary Cox, the leader of the Masters at the moment, they're in 4th place. So he is being chased down by Robert Simpson, but it's Colin Davis and Chris Thomas in behind that he needs to worry about. They're his fellow Masters category drivers. And now, it does change it behind as well. That's all a problem, I think, for the 63 there out of the final corner. Looks as though they'll be coming into the pits. So 63 of Sam Ward there having an issue as he comes across the start-finish line and heading back into the pit lane, it seems. So Sam Ward out of this race then. Still this battle for 5th place raging on though. And it's all changing. The 16 now at the front of this train, that being Chris Thomas. Checkered flag is out though, that's gone quickly. Last time I looked there was 3 minutes to go, and now the checkered flag is out. Race comes to an end then for the Rotax 177s and 177 Masters. They head their way back into the pit lane, but it was Archie Elliott who took the win then. Archie Elliott takes the win overall, and of course the win in 177s. Second place, Toby Case. Gary Cox in third overall, but the winners in the Masters. Robert Simpson there in fifth, with Chris Thomas. So Robert Simpson effectively in the fourth place overall, effectively third in the 177 class. Then Chris Thomas and Colin Davis, fifth and sixth overall, second and third in the Masters. Joshua Pickford, Lisa Hutchings, Lincoln Bailey Arneson and Adrian Jeffrey round out the top 10. And to be fair, Lincoln Bailey Arneson had the fastest lap for most of that race. It was only stolen away by Archie Elliott, your race winner, right at the dying moments there. Outside of the top 10. Jake Dennis, Reese Thewin, then Ben Avery, Neil Hemming, Harry Simpson, Dennis Tretsiak, then Daniel Wright, Ryan O'Gara, Ryan Silverthorne, so right on to the novices there, making up a couple of places, with Sam Ward, Adam Clark, David Simpson and Oliver Appleby there. 23 drivers in that race. Sadly, we lost Oliver Appleby. I'm not sure if Oliver Appleby actually did make it to the grid. No, he didn't, but Oliver. And sadly, during that race, we lost David Simpson, Adam Clark, and of course we saw Sam Ward there pull into the pit lane. On the second, I think it was actually the last lap that he pulled into the pit, sadly enough for him. But that's it. For the 177s and the 177 Masters category, race 6 done and dusted, and now we move on to the Formula Blues. Now, I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying the Formula Blues aren't always here at Forest Edge. We've just been blessed for round number 2 to have the Formula Blues and the Junior Blues here racing with us today. So they will be up next. Out the drivers come then for the Formula Blues on their warm-up laps. Let's run you through the grid. Of course, a joint grid here between the Formula Blues and the Junior Blue, but only one Junior Blue in this race. That'll be Alfie Lenton starting at the back of the pack. But further up the order, front row is Stephen Groves and Michael Bell. There's David Good and Paul Alexander on row number 2. Anthony Cleal and David Watts are there on row 3. David Watts, your O-plate holder in the Formula Blues there in 6th place. Harry Smithson and Joey Foster are on row number 4, with Mark Cook and Callum Jobson on row number 5. Then Leanne McShane and Alfie Lenton there on row number 6. Around the final corner they come. Looks as though there might not be quite as many drivers in this race as we immediately thought. Definitely only 10 drivers taking to the race start then. Or maybe even 8. Maybe my maths is really bad. And we have 8 drivers taking to this race start. 2, 4, 6, 8. Indeed, 8 drivers. So did think we had 12 on the entry list, but only 8 taking to this race then. And it was Stephen Groves who led us away. I can tell you, Michael Bell, who was supposed to be on the front row, is not out in this race. Then the number 1, they're all still there. So Harry Smithson no longer in this race either. Neither is Joey Foster's there. There's Mark Cook. I don't think is in this one either. No, Mark Cook isn't. Callum Jobson, he is in this race. So Mark Cook we've lost and Michael Bell out of this race. But after lap number 1, it's Anthony Cleal who takes the lead of the race. Was supposed to be 5th place on the grid for this one. So what a great start this has been for Anthony Cleal. Not surprising though for Anthony, considering he has got the number 1 plated car, which makes me think he was the championship winner last year. We have got a yellow flag down in the middle section of the circuit though, the number 4 pulling to a halt. So the number 4 That is all Alexander there. Came across the line in 8th place last time around, but Kart giving up the ghost there on lap number 2. Round the final section, they come big slide from 2nd place. The number 6 of Joey Foster has made their way up into 2nd, and through has followed David Watts as well. So Stephen Groves, 2 positions lost for himself on that last lap around the Forest Edge Kart circuit. But these 3, your closest battle in this race, as they head down through Winger's Dip. Up then into the bus stop. It all changes around for 2nd place, but will we see a fight back from Stephen Groves there on the number 7? Or is that done and dusted for his race? Is he just going to try and hook onto the back of these 2 as they attempt to press on towards the leader by Anthony Cleal? What impressive pace from Anthony, 43.4 on the last lap. The rest of the drivers in the 44s and the 45s. And Cleo doesn't quite go faster. However, crucially, everyone behind does go faster. However, overall Anthony was slower than his fastest lap of the race so far. That last lap, still faster than the drivers trying to chase him down. 4.5 minutes still to go on the clock for this Formula Blue first heat of the day. 2nd and 3rd, very close together though. This is going to be your closest battle throughout this race. Move already been made though down the inside. Goes David Watts, but can't quite get far enough alongside. Not committed enough there into the right-hander. Up at midgets. He attempted the move. Thinks better of it. He's got enough time left in this race. He can just continue waiting and pressing on. There's the 48 and the 79 coming through as well, that being Leanne McShane and David Good there. So sadly it does seem as though, I do think that only junior Formula Blue is supposed to be in this. Alfie Lenton isn't in this race either, so that's where we're losing some of the drivers from. But still as they were for 2nd place then. Bit of curb taken on the exit there for your 2nd place runner of Joey Foster. That just unsettles the kart ever so slightly and potentially offering up an opportunity to the O-plate of David Watts. As they head down through Haynes Loop, all staying as they were. And you can see someone in the high vis getting some great photos down there at Haynes Loop as well. So looking forward to see those after the round is done and dusted. Through the bus stop chicane they come once again. Still Joey Foster in 2nd with David Watts in 3rd, and now it does seem as though Stephen Groves in 4th is slowly but surely falling into the clutches of Callum Jobson. Currently in 5th place for Callum, but looking to steal away 4th before the checkered flag here. Still 2 minutes and 40 seconds left to go on the clock. And actually, despite this field being a little bit spread out, we've sort of formed into 2x2 battles here, apart from the leader, who continues to scamper off. Leader with a new pace after the race, last time around, 53.02 for Anthony Cleal. Taking as much speed as they can then through the bus stop chicane. You see them getting all squirrely on that exit curb, but managing to keep it on the black stuff. We've seen a few drivers lose out there on the exit of bus stop already, but none of the drivers following suit this time around. 72 of Callum Johnson is catching and catching and catching here. Battle in the background though, 48 and the 79 going at it through the last corner. You'll see them come through with start-finish camera shot now. David Good still ahead of Leanne McShane, but for how much longer? Leanne is looking to press on forward, and she's piling on the pressure onto that rear bumper of David Good. Looking back forward though to that battle for 4th place. Stephen Groves just about holding on to it at the moment, ahead of Callum Jobson. Now Callum closed in over a good few laps, but now that gap between them seems to have stagnated a bit, potentially. The 72 just getting caught up in the lines of the 7 ahead, and now not able to catch any further. 1 minute left to go on the timing screens then. And Leanne McShane still all over the back of David Good, but still unable to find a way past. New personal best then for David Watts and Stephen Groves on that last lap. David Watts nearly matched the leader's pace. 43.33 for Anthony Clear in the lead, 43.34 for David Watts in fourth place. Or in third place, sorry, for the O-Plate, but David, after that initial attempt for the move up at midgets a few laps ago, he hasn't been close enough to think about another overtake. He's trying to close down that gap as best he can, but he'll have 2 laps to try and do something about it. There's the move down the inside, not quite, from Leanne McShane. She's looked very feisty there, heading down into Climber every lap. Clearly has good overspeed out of midgets, but can't quite get the move done down the inside. These two still close between each other as they head through bus stop chicane for second and third. Again, the 72 of Callum Jobson, after that great pace he showed in the middle part of the race, it's just dropped off ever so slightly. And he now seems to be falling off, slowly but surely, off of the back of fourth place. Super close now for the O-Plate. Thinks about it down the inside on the last corner. Can't get it done. And on to the last lap they go then for this Formula Blue heat number 1. Through sector 1 they come then. Big lead for the number 1 of Anthony Cleal. Your championship winner in 2023. Not surprising that he is over 3 seconds ahead in this first heat of the day for the Formula Blues. Very few opportunities though here for the third place driver of David Watts to grab second away from Joey Foster. I think Joey Foster might have just done enough here through the last couple of laps to fend off the O-Plate holder of David Watts. But round the last corner, round Tollies, comes Anthony Cleal. He's going to take the win in heat number 1. And just about holding on to P2 is Joey Foster. David Watts rounds out the podium with a good bit of driving there in the latter stages from Stephen Groves to hold on to fourth place ahead of Callum Jobson. David Good and Leanne Alexander still nose to tail, and Leanne Alexander has got the place on the last lap. It's taken her the whole race to get that move done, but she does get it done and moves up to 6th place on the last lap. David Good rounds out the 7 finishes in that one, and of course we lost the number 4 of Paul Alexander on lap number 1, sadly for him. Well, lap number 2 it was that he pulled over to the side of the circuit just on the exit of Johnny's, sadly for him. But that's it. Formula Blue heat number 1 done and dusted. 7 races already completed today, and this is the one I'm quite excited for. I've never commentated over supercars before, and this is about to be the first time. Supercars are coming up next. Ladies and gentlemen, Supercars up next. They head out of the pit lane. 16 Supercars on the grid then for heat number 1. It's Matthew Duncan and Ash Goodliffe who line up on the front row. Row number 2, Aaron Powell. Daniel Butland and Fraser Everett are there on row number 3, with Spencer Chappell and Callum Smith on row 4. Ross Cornick and Aaron Mayle round out the top 10 there on row number 5, with Matt Alnutt, Sam Gullis on row 6, then Graham Payne and Daniel Hammett on row 7, Mark Smith and Ian O'Rourke on row number 8. Look at these good cars go, they are absolutely mental, and we're not even seeing them at full race pace just yet. Around the first couple of corners they go, and of course to remind you, Standing start for this one. It looks like we've already got a driver off though, sadly for them. Actually getting back in the kart and restarting there, so maybe a bit of a spin. As all know, he's getting back up and out of the kart once again. So maybe a bit more critical than he first thought there. Struggling to see what number it is. Who hasn't come through? Potentially Sam Gillis there. Sam Gillis supposed to be trying 12th place. There you go. It is the number 18, but he's got it back underway. So Sam Gillis now just waiting at the final corner. Is going to try and retake his grid spot. But good to see that he has managed to get back into this race. As I was saying, grid start for these supercars. There are two classes today that will have a grid start. Two very different classes, Honda Cadet and the supercars. Slightly different in pace, and you can see there some grid slots not being used because they're going to be a little bit too close. So just in case a driver stalls it, here we go then, look into the lights, away we go for the supercar spin. The 61 doesn't get off the line, Richard Connick stalls it. As one driver gets a bit close, but luckily no one collects Richard there on the start. That was a bit scary for him. But Richard Connick doesn't get underway then for the race start. Matthew Duncan in the lead of this race, and as they head through the first couple of sectors, yellow flag coming into the last section though because of the stricken car getting pulled off to the side of the circuit. It's your O-Plate champion though, Aaron Powell, who's already got to the sharp end of the order. Matthew Duncan follows through. Now close these carts are. And I also love how different all of the carts look. Every single car having its own little nuances. Through goes the 25 there. That was Spencer Chappell getting through on Fraser Everett there, down into the middle section of the circuit. And you'll notice as well, you can't see it sadly today, they do not use the bus stop chicane here. They fly straight past it, and oh my goodness, do they pick up a lot of speed through that second section of the circuit. The heavy braking up the top midgets as they fly back down towards the shots here. There was a move in the background, the 26 made up the place. So Aaron Nail, Alan Smith all through on through the middle section, struggling to get the power down, and Fraser Everett losing out on another spot, I think this time to Ross Cornick. Fraser is actually down to 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th place, I think, for Fraser. So I think Ross Cornick, Aaron Mail and Matt Ulmer have all gone past. So these three pressing on lovely. I love the wing on the 47 as well. I'm not sure if that does anything, but it looks sick. 47, 14 under a bit of pressure there. That's Ross Cornick under pressure from Matt Alnett then through the first couple of sections. Ross holds on for now, and Matt's got a good exit. Down towards the middle section, we've got a spin for the 96 as well. Out of Johnny's, Mark Smith goes for a little 180-degree rotation. Continues on, but he's lost a number of places because of that small mistake there. So easy to make a mistake, and we've got a car that's backed up as well. A car from the sharp end of the order has backed up. That's the 73. The 73 of Matthew Duncan is out of the race. So these carts, amazing to watch, incredible feats of engineering, but they'll back up easily, and that's what's happened there to the 73 as he pulls over to the outside of the start-finish straight. You can see him there on your camera angle as the two other drivers come flying through, but it's going to be a yellow flag through Tully's for the foreseeable future as the 73 tries to get his cart to a safe place. Here comes the O-Plate of Aaron Powell then. To finish another lap, and it's the 26 that comes through to follow him. Sorry, the 25 of Spencer Chappell. Yeah, Spencer Chappell in second place. Still the battle going on for third. That's between Aaron Mettle and Matt Ulnett. Hearing the drivers fly up the gears towards flying up the gears down the main straight up towards midget to the top of the circuit. Hearing them just flying up the gears sounds absolutely amazing. What fantastic racing, and I'll say as well, what fantastic weather we're now having here. I thought there was potentially a chance of rain here today at Forest Edge, but the sunshine has come out to bless us in this supercar first heat of the day. Slippery surface flag though out at the final corner, so potentially as the 73 gave up the ghost, they've dropped some sort of liquid down at the final corner as well, so drivers needing to be a little bit careful, particularly when you have such instant power delivery in these karts. Need to be a little bit careful. If you're on the slippery stuff trying to put the power down, it's not going to end well. Change to third place though. The 36 Milner has made his way up into third. Aaron Hill having to settle for fourth for now. The O-plate seemingly being caught though here by Spencer Chappell. Spencer Chappell's getting a second win here in this race on the number 25, but there's less than a minute left to go in this race. I'm not sure if he's going to have enough time. Even if he finds the pace of his life here, I don't know if he'll be able to catch your leader, Darren Powell. A bit slow to the final corner there for the 81, or 61 it'll be. That's Richard Connick. I don't know, it was the 81 of Ian O'Rourke. Something's gone wrong, I think, for Ian O'Rourke, who's going very slowly, so potentially another supercar out of this race. He continues past the pits though, so maybe just a slight issue there. Still 20 seconds left to go on the clock. Leader comes through to start the penultimate lap of the race. Battle's still going on for third place, to be fair. Matt Olner, his pace has been brilliant in this race. Where did Matt start on the grid? Matt started down in 11th place for this race, has moved his way all the way up into third, but now under pressure once again. So Matt being the one that's been applying the pressure throughout this race, now the one under pressure from fourth place runner Aaron Mayle. Round the final corner comes the zero then. Aaron Powell sees the last lap board. Spencer Chappell only 1.5 seconds behind him. They did lose half a second now, I think potentially held up by a bit marker. Round through Haynes Loop, you can see the drivers coming. Battle in the background though. This is a good little battle. This is a 6th race. This is hotted up in the last couple of minutes. Callum Smith, Ash Goodliff, Daniel Hammett and Sam Gillis for the 6th place there. All line astern as they come through the middle section of the circuit. Here comes the leader though, the O-plate. Round through the final couple of corners. You'll see him coming to your camera shot now, and it will be Alan Powell. It's a win, and it's number one. Just about over the line. John and Mayle there, respectively. Here's the battle that we were looking at though. Does it stay as it wants it? No. Just it does. Callum Smith sets a personal best on that last lap to fend off his 6th place from Alex Goodliff, Daniel Hammett and Sam Gillis, and it was Mark Smith who finishes in 10th place there. Graham Payne comes across the line to finish in 11th, and here's Fraser Everett coming across the line to finish in 12th place. And I think that's it for your actual finishing runners in that one. Potentially the 42 coming across the line as well, but a lap down in that one. And Ian O'Rourke as well, I did see come across the line in the 81, but was going very slowly for the second half of that race, so potentially nursing a bit of an issue there for the novice driver. Matthew Duncan and Richard Connick, sadly, well, Richard Connick not making it past the start as he stalled on the line and couldn't get it going again. And Matthew Duncan, we saw pull off only a few laps into that one. Hopefully we'll see both drivers back out later on though for their second heat. But supercars, they didn't fail to amaze me. What speed up that back straight, incredible as they fly up towards midgets. I look forward to seeing them out again a bit later on for their second heat of the day. But that's a full run through. We've done all of the first round of heats for today's racing here at round number 2 of the Forest Edge Kart Club in 2024. We'll take a little breather before we go into the second round of heats, starting off once again with Junior Rotax heat number 2.